only remember one person from the first time I visited Pawpaw back in the early 90s. And I'm sure that people shook my hand and said hello and asked my name and all of that. Greeted me warmly because I know what this church does. But for me, the face of Pawpaw for many years was Dale. I remember that he was one of the deacons taking up the offering. He had on a cowboy hat, he had a badge on, and he had cowboy boots. And I thought, Jim and I are special educators. And I thought, wow, this is a church who fully includes everybody. And so that just really made an impression on me. He was very precise about his job. He did it well. He was smiling, and it was what I remembered about Pawpaw. How this church had pulled Dale into the fabric, the real meaningful part of what they did. It was about 15 years later that we became members here. And I watched how many places Dale was involved. So after church every Sabbath, he was in the pulpit, and he would have his Bible, and he had all of the actions that went with a preacher. And so if you watched him, you knew that his message was a heartfelt one. So where did Dale always sit? Right there, right. I know this because I sat there once. That did not go well. He had the most heartfelt prayer. So maybe 2 or 3 times a year, he would have the congregational prayer. And if you were there for that experience, it was a very special one. Although we didn't know exactly what he was saying, he knew and God knew. And those prayers were always a blessing to me. So these are the things that I learned from Dale. Play your harmonica during praise time. And sometimes the leaders do better if you do the directing. So don't forget your baton. Stake out the best seat. If you come to church, you should bring an offering. And if you forgot to get it out of your pocket, he would stand there and wait for you to get that done. So, he knew the power of giving. If you watch and listen to the pastor, you can learn a lot, and you should share what you've learned. Stand outside the door when you're welcoming people as they come in. Shake their hands and sometimes give them a hug because people need contact. Dale embodied our Church of Refuge. He belonged, he worshiped, he proclaimed, and we all learned from Dale. So the 4 things across the wall were embodied in one person. He hasn't been well for quite a while now, and he has taken a dramatic turn for the worse this week. So our prayers are with Ken and Ellie as they watch the son they've nurtured for 62 years come to the end of his earthly life. Because of Ken and Ellie, he's lived much longer than people with Down syndrome live. And we have been blessed by watching them parent this man. And we've been blessed by they've let us share him. I've heard Ken say so many times that he just imagines Jesus coming and hearing the words of his son's sermon for the first time. I look forward to that too. On Thursday of this week and 10 days of prayer, we were praying for Dale, but we were also talking, the theme was on the forgotten. And Lori reminded us that what we do for the least of these is what we're doing for Jesus. We've been praying for Dale and his family, and I realized what a blessing he has been to Pawpaw. And I hope that we were the best part of his week. There was no forgotten here. May we be the church who never forgets or marginalizes or overlooks or shuns or looks beyond. May Dale always be the face of Pawpaw, because in a very real sense, he reflects the face of Jesus.